Happy Friday, everyone.
Yo, 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 yo.
Welcome.
Welcome.
TGIF.
TGIF.
Remember that?
Yay. Hi, Matt. Thanks for joining.
Hey, what's up, Matt?
I
Hey,
know you said
Kels.
you're shy, so don't feel like you have to pop on and say hi. But if you want to, hi. Hi, Kels. Hi, Sophia. Everyone
Nice
feel
to see you.
free. Yeah, good to see you
Oh,
too. Feel free to put in the chat or speak up where you're calling in from, what you are beveraging, if it's coffee for this coffee break or tea. I am drinking kombucha right now and I'm calling in from Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
oh, really? I went to school in Eau Claire.
Shut up.
Nice,
Kels
nice.
says Portland, Oregon, usually tea. But Ari moved through that to water. Oh, and Matt is in Portland, Maine. So we've got the Portlands on opposite ends of the coasts.
Portland's
That's great.
representing. Both are
Represent.
great towns.
I've been to Portland, Oregon. I have no idea what Portland, Maine is like.
Oh, I love Portland, Maine.
Really? What's it
Great.
like? I imagine lobsters.
That's so narrow-minded, Sarah.
I know. I'm such a stereotype, right?
I used to live in Belfast, Kels. I don't know if you've ever been up there. It's up maybe an hour and a half, maybe not quite 2 hours north. It's on the coast.
Is Belfast the East Coast one? Because that's Matt, not Kels, right?
Yeah. Belfast, Maine. Yeah.
Kels is in Oregon.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. Sorry. Jeez, I'm getting my Portlands mixed up.
They're like really confusing.
Yeah.
Hi, Sasha. Oh, she's not on.
It's also pretty early still. So.
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, Sasha. How's it going?
Hello. Good. Just trying to get my shit connected.
As we all
Get
are.
it together.
Never ending.
I decided I had time for a run and taking a shower in the last hour, and I kind of didn't.
Nice. Congrats.
So my hair is wet. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. It looks fine.
How's everybody doing?
Good. Is it super hot where you are, Sasha?
It is pretty hot and muggy.
Me too.
Ooh.
Keeps going back and forth between being just very sunny and raining, and so that just makes it gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kickboxing. That sounds cool. Kels is a kickboxer.
Nice. I've always wanted to try kickboxing.
Yeah. I took a very brief beginner introductory Muay Thai kickboxing class ages ago, and it was really cool. And then
I do martial arts as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind? What flavor?
MMA.
What's that?
It's mixed martial arts, so it's like
Okay.
everything in one.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I just saw some really, really devastating MMA fights. We were looking online to see a certain kind of kick that we were trying to learn in kickboxing, and it put us on this MMA site, and it was brutal.
It really is.
Like, that looks harsh. And
It
hard.
is really hard, especially when it's full contact. It's quite challenging. Yeah. And it's usually all men, so it's pretty hard lifting. These huge men, to tackle and everything. So, but yeah.
Nice. Oh, Eggy. Eggy's
Hey,
here.
Eggy. What time is it there? Welcome.
I guess like 6:30, 5:30.
His audio is connecting. We're just like, hey, what's up? I have a very up and down relationship with mornings, usually down. Usually mornings are a struggle. But today was one of those ones where I'm just like, I'm up, let's go. Let's do it. Like that never happens. It's so weird for me. I'm just like, yep, I'm ready.
It does
And
not.
I have no reason to be that way. I slept like 4 hours or something.
Just own it.
I don't get it.
Hey, what's up, Iggy?
Thanks for joining, Eggy. What time is it there?
5:30.
Hey, it's like no, yeah, it's 6:30.
Damn it.
I'm just I thought I'd pop in. I'm gonna eat my dinner and listen to you guys.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. I'm just it's been a long day, and it's the end of the week, right?
Yeah.
And what you guys up to? Are you talking about something?
We were
What's up?
talking about martial arts.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm a boxer kind of guy. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah?
my sport. That's my sport. There's something classy about box, but I've been always I always wanted to get into jujitsu.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Apparently,
I don't know.
Sophia's
I don't
into
know.
martial arts. Kels
Yeah.
is a kickboxer.
Wow. That's a cool
Badass,
take. Like climate designer / fighter.
right? Who knew?
We should put a team together.
Mm-hmm.
Box our way down to
Power Rangers, dude.
box all the
Captain
carbon out of the
Planet.
air.
Do you all in your practices have like black belts, brown belts? No,
Oh no, it's
That's
just
just-
normal clothes. I'm just fine.
that's just a karate or specific martial arts.
And
Yeah.
that's karate or jiu-jitsu, I think.
Okay.
But I do have an interesting observation about boxing because I used to train I started in Poland, then I went to Taiwan, I practiced there, and then I went to Marseille in France. And in all those places, the same sport was conducted in such a different way. I'm talking about training, right? Like in Poland here, it was mostly about technique and just practicing the same kind of punches but the different configurations of those punches, but it was not about fighting other people. It was more about being as perfect as you can be with a technique. In Taiwan, it was more about fluidity of the movement, right? So it was not about technique versus like I don't care how precisely you're going to make this movement. It was more how is it going to connect to other movements you're going to make in a sequence. And in France, it was all about fighting with other people. Like we don't care about technique. Like you've got to win with other people. So same sport, right? Same thing. It's weird, different approach to it. Yeah.
Well,
Trivia.
cool. Very cool. I asked about belts because I was looking at the responses to the prompt that Sasha posted this week, asking, tell us where you are on your climate design journey, asking if people are new, beginner, intermediate, advanced, or experts, authorities on climate design. And Jonathan White, who comes to these often, posted, hoping to get my intermediate CD belt later this year. And Sasha was like, it would be really cool if we got actual belts. So it seemed to tie it together.
Yes,
But,
I think that would be fun. Make it happen. Climate designer belts.
well, yeah, Cynthia is the one thinking about what climate designers merchandise or paraphernalia
I'll tag her.
would tie us together and help us feel like we're part of a community, right? But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and it's really interesting going through what people say. I guess as admins, we can see how many people voted for which option. So we've got a lot of people who consider themselves new and beginner, and a lot of people who consider themselves advanced. Where does everybody here rate themselves as far as on the climate designer scale of just learning what climate design is to already working or teaching in the field or being an authority on climate design? Any ideas? Kels
Yeah, I would say
beginner.
beginner.
Sophia says
like
beginner.
beginner.
Hmm.
I put
I'm-
myself
I'm-
in. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I put myself in between beginner and intermediate. Wish there was an option for that. If only someone had made the poll. That way.
Says the poll creator.
I personally think I'm still in a new phase, just because I still am trying to figure out what it means to me and how can I think about it and steer my life towards projects like that. But you know, I mean, I gotta be honest with myself about the things that I want to do. And for example, this institute that we've been doing, it was interesting project because it was slightly above what I am able to deliver. So it was also like a learning opportunity to work with somebody who has a very strong message when it comes to creating, you know, energy transition institute. And I know how to do cool CGI animations. That person needs branding. Okay, can I do it? Like, is it can I stretch myself to a point where it's going to be interesting for me for all those different reasons? So yeah, I feel it's all about figuring it out, like, and finding the best possible position so my skills can be applied in a tangible and in a strong way. I mean, in a way that it actually helps something and it's not just a small afterthought. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember when I was doing this project, a branding project for a client in Detroit, and he was doing this car garage for like luxury cars. It was not like, it was a privately owned garage for private owned cars, like a club also almost. And it's cars, right? Like it's like for people who own multiple cars, like not a big climate change awareness mindset, but the guy was really open about having a conversation about painting the entire building with this paint that absorbs CO2, right? So like it's an interesting situation to be in. On one hand, like people do stuff like that, and but at the same time they are open enough to consider doing it. Full disclosure, I don't know if he did that.
Very cool. What are your thoughts, Matt?
I felt like I wasn't exactly sure what to put. Like, I guess I would agree to the idea of like in between beginner and intermediate. Like, I have a lot of ideas of what to do, and I mean, I've popped up a couple times on the site talking about writing this book that I've talked to a number of you on this chat about, but so trying to work on that, but then trying to just make ends meet elsewhere. It's like, well, I'm not doing, I don't have a job in climate anything at the moment. So it's not, I don't feel like beginner fits. In terms of like, giving can we swear? Shit about climate or whatever. That, I've done a lot of reading on, and I care very much, and I've done a lot of research, and I'm trying to just figure out what I can do, where that intersects with what I care about. So not quite intermediate, but this isn't like my first day.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of us are resonating with that part of beginner where it says figuring out how to apply it to my work. But somehow we're not ready to say I have some experience doing the work. I think y'all can just call yourselves intermediate. Y'all are too humble.
We all got promotions.
Congrats. Because I think it's a lifelong journey of figuring out how it applies and where that sweet spot is about like where I can fit my unique skills and expertise into all of this. Figuring that out is an ongoing process of experimentation, you know?
And I think another important thing to think about is that it's not as if you all need to like get this kit in the mail and then apply all the things within that kit to a new project. So therefore you level up. I think even just start asking questions in the creative process, asking questions towards your client or the project itself that is putting climate and all the things attached to it a bit more at the core of the thing that you're doing. So even just taking that first step. So I wouldn't, I'm not saying you all are thinking this way, but you know, for me, it's not so much I have a thing now that I'm going to like bolt on to my projects. It's even just the simple act of asking questions or adding an extra step in your creative process to consider material use or impact or other things, you know. So this is really interesting. I'm really fascinated with this poll, and I would love to share it with the newsletter. I just added it, Sarah and Sasha, to the welcome section because I think it would be really great to try to get that data, something that we haven't really done or been super you know, stingent on in terms of getting data from our members. But all of this is great because it'll help us steer this ship collectively in terms of where we take climate designers, because we need to know who our members are and where they're coming from and where they're at.
Where everybody thinks they are in their journey. Yeah, I think to piggyback on what Mark was saying, like I think in was it last week? My sense of time is really warped, but in a recent meeting we were asking people what their climate guilty pleasure was. I think it might have been the global meetup last weekend. And a lot of people felt guilty because they took on clients that weren't 100% climate focused or something. And, or at least one person brought that up. And I think we are somewhat perfectionists and too hard on ourselves. If we can't say that we're a climate designer, if not 100% of our workload is like super green, eco-friendly or whatever, I would say that being able to say that you're a climate designer or whatever, it's really more of a state of mind. It's a perspective that you're looking at the world with and that you're bringing to all of your projects. And so if you have that perspective, you are already going to ask questions that a client or another designer working with a client probably wouldn't have brought up and just wouldn't even be a discussion point. It doesn't mean that you're always successful convincing that client or influencing that client. Sometimes you just plant the seeds and maybe 4 years from now, they bloom into something that the client does differently, you know? So you're influencing and persuading people in small ways, in subtle ways, because you have a different perspective, because you're bringing that perspective into everything that you do. And you know, it would be nice to sometimes be able to say to an employer, I'm not going to work on this project because it's benefiting fossil fuel companies or whatever. But sometimes we all have bills to pay and we have to do the work, but just bringing it up and saying, I have concerns about this is enough to plant that seed, and maybe that employer or client changes things in the years to come. Business moves really, really slow. And I think we are embarking on something that is going to take a lot to change, to move. And I mean, it's really urgent that we just start, even if those starts don't feel like enough right now and we beat ourselves up. Let's not beat ourselves up. We're doing the good work by planting those seeds, and maybe that's making some change.
That's a really freeing thought. In that, yeah, I've been sort of beating myself up a lot about that recently. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not, I don't know, somehow instantly like changing the world or something. And um, I really like that idea of like giving yourself permission to, even if it's just, yeah, you can call yourself like intermediate, or like just giving yourself permission to be like, this is a process. And probably, I mean, I know that like all of us would say we're not where we want to be, but I that thought really meant a lot to me.
I'm glad. Welcome, Rachel. We're talking about whether we can call ourselves beginner or intermediate or expert climate designers. And I propose that it's more of a mindset that we're looking at things with, and we're planting the seeds to make change with our clients, even if we're not doing the most 100% climate friendly work that we think we will be, or that we are all striving to. I think we're all a little bit too hard on ourselves sometimes. And I think we can go ahead and call ourselves climate designers and know that this is a process.
Go ahead.
Something kind of a new way of that I've been talking about it. I feel like what we're doing, and not just with climate designers, but just people in general, like the climate crisis awareness stuff, the movements, the initiatives, like people that are waking up and realizing that this is an issue and we want to do something about it. I feel like we're all kind of in this adolescent phase, where we're kind of, our voice is changing, we got pimples on our face, we're growing, and like, it's just, we're not there yet, but we're also not a toddler anymore. We're not a kid anymore. And I feel like, especially when people talk about like, well, electric cars use, energy from fossil fuels, blah, blah, whatever. It's like, yeah, dude, like we're in this transition phase right now. We're in this limbo state right now. And so let's just chill out and like know that we're in this transition phase and we're striving to head into a more sustainable, regenerative state of mind or state. And so like, I think we're just kind of in this limbo gray area, and we're just doing the work. And at some point we will, grow up and become better citizens, better humans on this planet. So I feel like when people get into the nitty gritty of these, like, well, this is producing this much thing and blah, 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 this is using this much resources. It's like, come on, dude, at least we're trying, So I think, yeah, just be more gentle on ourselves and know that we're in this for the long haul, and moving in any positive direction is better than being stagnant.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people get caught up in that idea of like perfectionism and zero and just, well, if it can't be perfect, then I'm not going to do it at all. And they use it as kind of a crutch to not make any change and not make any difference.
Or call someone out for not being perfect, which I think is what we don't need. My response to that would be like, well, what are you doing then? What's the James Murphy quote, Sarah, that we don't.
Best way to complain is to make something new.
Yeah, something like that, is to make stuff or something. Yeah, don't complain, make something.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're exactly right, Rachel. Like people say something like in their minds, it seems like I can't do this 100% perfect, so I'm not going to do it at all, and it becomes some sort of crutch to not do anything.
I do that to myself all the time, like in all of my work.
Really?
I'm like very aware that I am doing it in my brain, but which helps me not do it. But yeah.
Yep. Awareness is the first step or something, right?
Yes. Yeah. Admit I have a problem.
I did have a project very early on when I started to get interested in design and how it can help, raise awareness. I wanted to somehow figure out a way to put labels on every food in a grocery store that tells us how many kilograms of CO2 were produced to create this product, be it a yogurt or a coffee or whatever. And I started to get interested in what would be the process to make that happen, and like if there are any other people doing it. And apparently there were a few researchers doing this kind of like trying to assess the reality of a labeled project like that. But I kind of stopped in the middle of it because it seemed so impossible to achieve. It was, I didn't know where to go with this next. And that's usually how I see climate projects. It's not even about clients. It's more about like, I live my life, I do projects that I do. And once in a while, I'm just going to find or stumble upon an idea. And if I can do it, I will try to do it. But sometimes, there are, like, without a support group like this one, like it would be impossible to even, have people to talk about this, right? So I think, I think maybe that's the way to also look at each other and at the level we are at, like what kind of ideas we have related to climate change projects, instead of just like, oh, so I've got a client. Like, if you're thinking about it, then you're like intermediate, right? Like if you're actively thinking about, okay, so what can I do, using my skills, maybe that's the sign of like maturity in it. Because we don't control clients, right? Like we don't really, like the market lives with their own like rules and things. And I'm fascinated by getting creative clients. That's like, I really want to get into like getting creative clients. And there's one way that I'm seeing right now, which is called trialogues. And there are a few companies doing it. It's almost like a trilogue. So a dialogue between three entities. You've got businesses, universities, and public in some kind of a form. And it's being done right now in Germany as like a energy transition thing, but not with businesses, but mostly with in between governmental organizations, academia, and public. And today I had a call with Katya from this organization, and we kind of discussed, okay, so what would be the way to introduce trilogues for business, but also from a perspective of climate change design, like climate change communication. And I think our job as climate designers is not only thinking about ideas that can use design and help solve problems creatively, but also like finding the right clients for us. Like this is an active work that we really need to do. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. I've got a gym to hit, so.
Well, it's about the top of the hour, so we're all gonna sign off pretty soon, but I just wanted to say how nice it is to hear all of your examples and what you're working on, and how you even rate yourself as a climate designer is really insightful. So thank you so much for showing up today and spending this time with us and being a part of this discussion. It's been really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Love hearing your thoughts. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a great